House of Representatives. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. Mr. Speaker, the bill before us, House Resolution 1412, recognizes the efforts to date of the South African government to fight human trafficking while urging sustained and expanded efforts for the future. According to the State Department's 2010 Trafficking in Persons report, and I quote, "South Africa is a source, transit, and destination country for men, women, and children subjected to trafficking in persons, specifically forced labor and forced commercial sexual exploitation," end quote. Further, South Africa, quote, "does not fully comply with the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. However, it is making significant efforts to do so," end quote. As the 2010 trafficking report recognizes, and this resolution reaffirms, South Africa has in fact made notable progress in confronting human trafficking. The recent conviction by the Durban Municipal Court of 2 individuals on trafficking-related charges is particularly significant and merits recognition. Still, we have a long way to go, Mr. Speaker. Concerns over trafficking in South Africa have been heightened with the commencement of the FIFA 2010 World Cup Games, which are being held at newly erected stadiums throughout the country. The massive influx of workers to build these stadiums and other infrastructure, high rates of domestic unemployment, the arrival of millions of spectators, and gaps in law enforcement capacity have provided an ideal operating environment for traffickers. Criminal networks and street gangs are already known to operate child prostitution rings in the country's major cities, where child sex tourism is on the rise. These same cities, including Durban, Cape Town, and Johannesburg, now boast major soccer stadiums capable of drawing between 40,000 to 95,000 spectators each. The confluence of criminality and opportunity created by the World Cup has presented major challenges for the South African government. Unfortunately, these challenges will endure long after the Cup has been awarded. This resolution urges the South African government to engage in an aggressive, sustained, and effective campaign to fight the scourge of trafficking. It urges the government to adopt the pending Prevention and Combating of Trafficking in Persons Bill and enforce relevant elements of the Sexual Offenses and Child Justice Acts. It urges the government to adopt additional measures to protect vulnerable children and other potential victims from sexual and labor exploitation. It urges the government to prioritize anti-trafficking law enforcement, particularly during the World Cup Games. And lastly, it encourages the government to prosecute tourists engaging in commercial sexual exploitation. I strongly urge our colleagues to support this timely and important resolution. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to yield as much time as he may consume to the gentleman from California, Mr. Royce, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs